These twins were born to African parents with dark complexions, but their skin tones had been noticeably different. Several years later, the really incredible happened. On the day of Stacy's ultrasound, the doctors confirmed her hopes: healthy twin boys. It was all Stacy and her husband Babaj could do not to dance at the news. Already their 4-year-old daughter Demilade was filling their home with love. The twins would complete it. On delivery day, Stacy received a general anesthetic C-section. The first baby, Daniel, came out exactly as imagined, a beautiful black baby with his parents' rich skin tone, dark brown eyes, and tight curls. But when his twin David was born moments later, the operating room fell silent. Contrary to his brother, David was born out of fair skin and golden hair, not even remotely looking like his family. The attending physician's mind swirled with questions. How could twin brothers look so different? He remembered reading about a rare occurrence called heteropaternal superfecundation, in which fraternal twins have different fathers. This happens when a woman releases more than one egg during ovulation and has intercourse with different men within a single cycle, giving rise to twins with different biological fathers. The doctor pushed aside the unsettling implications of this possibility, knowing a discussion with the parents would be necessary first. Hours later, when Stacy finally came out of anesthesia, a nurse sat with her bedside. Following a few sips of water, Stacy's first words were to ask to see her sons. The nurse, thinking she needed some sort of preparation, mentioned to her how very different the twins were from one another. Stacy wrinkled her brow with confusion. A white baby with golden hair? She could not understand what the nurse was talking about and demanded to see her children immediately. When the nurses brought in her newborns, Stacy's eyes went wide with incredulity. "Are you sure that they are both mine?" she stammered, her voice shaking. The nurses insisted that they had delivered both of them themselves. Still doubting, Stacy summoned Babaj into the room. He came in and she presented him with twins, her face a picture of mixed feelings. But Babaj had already spent time with his sons, and he exuded joy. He hadn't for one moment considered any misconduct medically or otherwise having occurred. His family was healthy. That was all that mattered. When Stacy and Babaj came in to consult the medical team, the doctors started off asking them very strange questions about how their relationship had been over the last 10 months. Strange as these were, Stacy and Babaj answered candidly. They were close and still felt attracted to each other continuously. The delicacy with which the doctor brought up the possibility of heteropaternal superfecundation was rapidly changed from shock to relief for Stacy. Finally, the elephant in the room had been talked about. She immediately agreed to paternity testing, eager to dispel any possible doubts about their marriage. The test results proved what had never been in doubt for Babaj. He was father to both boys. With paternity established, the doctors concentrated on David's unusual appearance. Their examination revealed the truth. David had a genetic condition called albinism, caused by the lack of melanin responsible for skin, hair, and eye coloring. The revelation had Stacy and Babaj shocked. Both families had no record of albinism. How was this even possible? The doctors explained that usually, albinism shows an autosomal recessive inheritance pattern. The parents can carry the gene without any signs, but when both parents pass on the mutated gene to the child, the result is albinism. With each pregnancy, carriers have a 25% chance of having a child with the condition. Stacy and Babaj were both carriers, it turned out. This was the rare and wonderful result. Identical twins, uniquely different. The doctors said David's albinism would need special care. His pale skin was going to be prone to sunburn, and his pinkish eyes might have problems with light sensitivity and uncontrolled movements. Still, they made it clear that albinism, occurring in about 1 of every 3,000 to 20,000 births in the world, cuts across all ethnic groups and races, even among animals. And though there was no cure, David would be okay with proper management, which included sun protection and vision care. Their motherland of Nigeria boasted an estimated population of over 2 million people with albinism, among the largest globally. However, these statistics do little to change the deeply set misconceptions of albinism. Some people perceive albinos as mythical creatures who possess some godlike powers, while others consider them as being accursed. These notions bring about a range of discriminatory behaviors, from passing glances to full hostility. In some communities, individuals with this genetic condition experienced extreme marginalization and denial of fundamental rights, bullying, harassment at work, and worse. Stacy's heart bled as she remembered seeing such discrimination firsthand, incidents that she had once dismissed as just ordinary prejudice. Now, as a mother to an albino child, these memories haunted her. Even in Lagos, a cosmopolitan city populated with educated people, she feared what David might have to endure. She shared her fears with Babaj, who held her close and promised they would protect their son no matter what. But their experience at the hospital had unexpectedly given them hope. Nurses came to their room in droves, oohing and aahing over the unusual twins and showering them with genuine affection. That warmth carried over at home, where neighbors were charmed by the boys, particularly David, whom they affectionately referred to as Oimo, white man. Wherever the twins went, their unusual appearance attracted notice, but increasingly Stacy and Babaj thought it was a blessing. These brothers were truly one of a kind, and whatever was coming would be side by side, encircled with unconditional love and protection. 4-year-old Demilade had listened to her parents' explanation of David's albinism with characteristic curiosity. To her, having a brother who looked different wasn't just normal, it was the coolest thing ever. Her only worry was his health, and she quickly appointed herself his personal guardian. She'd turn off lights when she noticed him blinking too much and carefully monitor his meals, knowing his condition called for a special diet. Stacy, a fashion designer, attired the twins with matching outfits showcasing their singular beauty. People's fascination with the brothers turned into an unplanned business opportunity as customers started ordering identical outfits to what the twins were wearing, boosting her boutique's success. Feeling this was an opportunity for raising awareness, after much contemplation with Babaj, social media accounts were set up for the boys. Within a year and a half, their following reached 18,000, attracting brand attention for which a skincare company provided products to those with albinism. With their products, David was successful enough to cause Stacy to give a very touching review in support of their mission to protect sensitive skin from cancer-causing damage. This rising visibility drew the attention of a London-based photography agency that offered the twins modeling opportunities, seemingly a validation of the journey for acceptance and celebration their family had undertaken. But their joy was short-lived as the twins started attending elementary school when they were 4 years old. While excited to make new friends, disturbing signs began to emerge within weeks. David, despite being taller than his co-twin, fell target to bullying. One morning, a notorious class bully asked David to give up his regular seat beside Daniel. The twins, who had never been separated, faced their first real test of bonding. "No," David replied, raising his chin despite his fear. But before he could even process what was happening, the bully's response was immediate and hostile. He pushed David off his chair. When David stood and asked him why, what hurt most were the cruel words, "You're not even his real brother. Everybody knows you're adopted." The classroom fell silent and no child defended David. The incident unleashed a campaign of whispered taunts and isolation. "Fake brother," they'd snicker as David passed. Daniel tried his best to console his twin, sharing all his snacks and spending every recess together, but he could not protect David from feeling like a pariah. Tepid responses from teachers only seemed to empower the tormentors. Though Daniel wasn't targeted, he felt every slight against his brother. Both boys began losing weight, their enthusiasm for school fading. Threats from classmates kept them silent at home, afraid that telling their parents would only make things worse. The breaking point came with the end-of-term drama presentation. The even-handed drama teacher had teased David with the lead role, which suited him perfectly. For weeks, excitement filled their home. But on performance day, Stacy and Babaj watched a visibly unhappy Daniel playing the part, seemingly felling the show. Quizzed, the boys came out with lame excuses, and the teacher's explanation sounded hollow. Realizing that his sons had altered over the last few months, Babaj sprang into action. With the aid of a sympathetic contact at his printing press, they surreptitiously fitted Daniel's school bag with a hidden camera, and David was given a watch for recording conversations. The tape revealed some heartbreaking truths: the physical bullying, the lonely lunches, most disturbingly, a teacher's systematic cruelty. She'd deliberately undermined David, ignoring his raised hand while answering others. The recorder captured her private threat to deal with him as long as he attended the school. She had even interfered with his drama role, poisoning the drama teacher's mind about his attitude and claiming that his appearance would distract from the performance. Although the drama teacher later regretted having made such a switch after Daniel's deliberate poor performance, the damage was done, just what the vindictive teacher had in mind. Tears flowed freely when Stacy and Babaj listened to the recordings. The evidence triggered immediate action. The school management sacked the abusive teacher, expelled the bully, and the police got involved. The teacher was then charged with child abuse but was released on bail. For the twins' parents, however, there was only one way to move on. They moved their sons to one of those few schools that boasted an inclusive atmosphere where children from different walks of life could grow together. Gradually, they watched their boys' bright spirits return. The experience haunted Stacy. How much worse might it have gotten if we hadn't discovered the truth? She shared their story online, triggering an outpouring of support and outrage at the systemic failure to protect vulnerable children. Comments praised the twins' unbreakable bond. These boys could have turned against each other, but instead they stood together. You've raised remarkable children who understand that love transcends appearance. As their 5th birthday approached on February 26th, the family chose to focus on joy rather than past hurts. Stacy dressed the boys in an array of matching outfits from sporty casual wear to elegant dark blue jumpsuits. A photo shoot the proud mom shared on Instagram then drew in birthday wishes from around the world. The twins still today continue to develop an incredible bond, and their story moves hearts around the world. They have become living proof that our worth is not in how we look, but in the love we give to others. Their journey has opened a challenge for all of us. What would you do if you saw someone being discriminated against? How would you stand up for what is right? Share with us in the comments. Thanks for watching.